And we are live.
We're live.
Welcome to the Bardic Inspiration Podcast. I'm your host, Brad the Bard.
Hello.
And it brings me great pleasure to have my guest today, Venture Co., the Parkour Extraordinaires. We got Pat and we got Tyler. What's going on, my dudes?
Not much.
What's going on?
Yo, so I just met you today, man.
Yes.
This is the first time I met you, and I saw you moving out there at 3rd and Spruce in Reading. It's a good spot.
Love the spot.
Oh my God, dude, you are schmoving out there. My God.
Thank you.
Exquisite movement.
Took you a while to remember his name, though. Called him Frank at one point.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, I called him 40 different names before I got Tyler right. Yeah.
I remember faces, not names. So
Yo.
Same deal.
Yeah,
I got
same. You know what I started doing whenever I meet like an important person? I immediately like take a note down in my phone. It's like, bartender from this bar, tattoo here about this like anchor with a fucking brown hair. Looks like John Travolta.
Yeah.
Like I make notes like that now. But yeah, man, so I kind of just wanted to start off with what got you guys to become Venture Co. Like, what is that? I didn't even know you had a parkour group company thing like these other guys.
It's weird. It started off with me and two of my other friends. We just like took a trip out to Florida one random like April, March, fucking middle of the month. And then like that happened, and then we came back, and then we had all of this like motivation. We're like, we want all these people on our team. Tyler was one of them, and then a few others like Henry.
Remember Beast Coast, right?
Yeah, Beast Coast, where we kind of like had a little group meeting of like who we want on the team. And then where is it? 2014 Beast Coast right there. And then from there it just kind of like started to grow, and then it kind of leveled out at a certain point, just because like all of us had to deal with like growing up and like jobs and life and money and all this other stuff and injuries too. That's a topic we can get into a little bit later.
No doubt.
But like injuries as well as like a big thing that kind of stopped a lot of us. But this is the year that we're trying to kind of restart everything and kind of make ourselves a little bit more known in terms of just like collaborating with other teams and organizations. And
that explains why you were in town today with
that
the
explains
Riot
why
Boys.
we're here with the Riot guys, and we're trying to do
pretty much.
almost like just working with anybody that we can right now and just like getting the name out. And
Yeah, I literally drove into town to pick up my son after work, and I'm like, oh my God, there's people jumping over there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know those guys. So I'm really happy that this ended up working out, because I actually couldn't do my podcast yesterday, so I get a double dose today, so this is perfect. Awesome. So Tyler, kind of give me your background, man, because I know a lot about Pat. I know how he's like an extraordinary dude. He's actually been my coach for like the last winter, and probably one of the better ones down there at PPK Philly, in my personal opinion.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So so parkour in general started for me after I got bored of competitive trampoline, and my friends showed me parkour videos on YouTube, and I fell in love ever since. It's been like,
so wait, competitive trampoline.
Yeah.
You need to get me spun up on that. I have no idea what that is.
I've grown up doing a bunch of like athletic, like I did soccer, I did played basketball for a bit. Nothing really worked out, and then I was doing trampoline for a bit. And
so how does that work? Like
it's
how do you
insane.
compete
There's
at trampoline?
There's like a whole routine that they teach you, and you have to do moves in a certain order.
Like a gymnastics routine,
yeah,
almost?
pretty much.
Okay.
But like on trampoline, and you need to perform it at like perfect. Everything needs to be perfect. Like you have to point your toes, you have to have perfect tucks, perfect form and everything. And it was going good for a while, only because I was learning flips, and I liked learning flips and learning new things. And then it kind of plateaued after a steady amount of time, and I wasn't learning anything like double backflips or anything I wanted to. And because of that, I just kind of quit and found my own thing. And then I found the beauty of parkour, which is like you learn whatever you want, you train however you want, you do whatever wherever you are. And that's why I love parkour.
Yeah.
That's dope.
It's the best part about it. I've always been like, it's very like same with like art. I do a lot of art stuff too. Like I designed the Venture Co stickers. I designed
if you want to throw one of those up, dude.
Bad boy up there.
You designed that?
Yeah.
No.
He designed too.
Dick Sanchez.
He designed Dick Sanchez.
I know the man.
Yep.
I know the. I'm familiar with the boy.
I'm the man behind the face. Yeah, Dick Sanchez. So me, I go to art school right now too. So I'm yeah, like a part-time, full-time student. I don't know what you want to call it. I'm like an illustrator. I do a bunch of cool stuff.
No, that's awesome, man.
Really enjoying it. Having a good time. Right
So do you do like commissions and stuff? Can people reach out to you? And
yeah, totally.
I guess the Riot guys did, right?
Yeah, they totally. Yeah, they definitely did. I've been
fan of that.
trying to keep my plate open. I have a lot of school stuff on my plate at the moment, but once I'm done learning in school, and once I have some free time, totally.
Let me get that
commissions hit me up at Tyler Downing at Spiffy Hippie.
Right down. Where are we?
It's not gonna focus well.
Somewhere over here. I'm gonna point.
Dick Sanchez.
Yeah.
And
he's
then,
the artist.
This is their actual design.
Yes.
I wish I had another guy to
It's
focus
all
the
good.
camera.
I've actually bought like 2 of Tyler's artworks because they're just super fucking dope. They're in my room right now. I love them to just like add to the inspiration that I have in my room just because.
I'm a sucker for creating, man. I just love creating anything and everything I can.
No, that's awesome, man. And you do music as well? I know, like you guys are trying to throw down a track in the Riot bus right now.
I dipped my foot in the pool, you know. I'm starting to get into that, with the Riot boys now. So see what we got cooking. Maybe some cool stuff. I don't know.
Come up with something after the podcast.
Yeah, totally.
Should be fun.
Yeah, maybe I'll throw some on there.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll go get a feature with Brad over here.
Brad the bar. Yeah, I'm actually gonna try to have my guitar teacher, basically, like the only guy I've ever taken like legitimate formal lessons from.
Yeah.
And he's the best guitarist I know.
Yeah.
I can confidently say so. Let's see if we can have him on this weekend. I'm not even gonna give him a shout out. Just I don't want another person bailing.
Yeah, you don't want to jinx it. Fingers crossed.
Exactly. And he just got off tour. He's in a metal band that was in Europe.
That's dope.
Yeah, like he just got back like a couple days ago.
On tour in Europe.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. So before we started, like you guys were going into shoes. I'm using these Saucony boys as per Andy's recommendation. What's the parkour shoe that's hot for you guys right now?
My personal favorite are Reebok Classics, which I don't have on me because I absolutely destroyed them. I trained like straight through those shoes, like my toes are busting out the sides and everything.
Yeah, Kato's look
like,
that way.
Yeah, Reebok Classics are my go-to shoes, but right now I have these Nike South Bay Checks.
Take off our
it's
shoes
like some
right now.
skateboarding shoe, pretty good grip.
That seems to be like the thing right now. Like
Skateboarding.
all the Riot guys are
Pretty
doing the
good.
same thing with the skateboarding shoes.
shoe.
Yeah. Can I see it?
They're pretty thin. They're pretty light too. I mean, those ones are kind of heavy.
Grip's nice.
But
nice.
yeah, the
Grip's
grip
solid.
is nice.
It's nice flat.
I like them. The
like
padding's
flat
pretty
bottom.
good too. I could feel walls and rails.
Mine right now are
The
the
Strike Movement
Movement
boys.
shoes. These are solid shoes. Little on the pricier side. So definitely not if you're looking for something cheap. But I've just been splurging on shoes recently, so it's like, don't even ask me for a shoe recommendation because like I've just been splurging on shoes.
My God,
But-
Kato, stop using my
Where are
account.
you?
You.
I think he. I don't see him on the computer, so he's probably gone right now. But I think when he was on there, he was probably just like.
If he
going
does
ham.
something bad, I'm gonna go in there and fucking choke him out.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I'm gonna just lock that computer
And
down.
then I'll film it, and then you guys will see it.
And then we'll be
firsthand.
back. So if we run out of here because Kato's out of control, that guy, man, that guy.
Shout out Kato.
Shout out Kato. Shout out Kato. Yeah. So all right, my bad.
all
Kato
good.
just caught me off guard with that lightning bolt in his clown face.
Lots of
I'm actually a security dude. Like my day job is I do IT security.
Okay, cool.
And I left my computer unlocked.
Rookie mistake right
Rookie
there.
mistake right there, man. Don't
That's
trust.
funny.
Don't trust anyone that's in your organization,
No.
ladies and gentlemen. Everyone's out to get you.
Not even your friends.
Yeah. So, yo, tell me, what do you guys do for your day job right now? And, kind of what's your plan to make the Venture Co. expand further than parkour? Because I know that's kind of, one of the plans right now that you kind of hinted at.
We are coming out with a bunch of pretty dope clothing that I am designing with, other creative minds within the team. We have, our teams consist of, a bunch of different creative minds that collaborate on different, video ideas, movement, inspirations, and just collaborations in general. We all collaborate, do different kind of artwork, so we're just kind of trying to expand and spread the creation wave
That's
of
awesome.
energy we have.
How many
going.
people are on the team?
9.
I think we're at 9, which is a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
I actually just like I'm just thinking about this. I might hit you up because I really like your like
the stickers.
It's just
really
dark.
dope.
Like I love that. Like
it's
edgy.
light.
Yeah.
It's like a Beavis
it's
and
nice.
Butthead music video.
Oh,
kind
dude,
of thing.
I grew up on.
Dude,
Beavis
that
and
all right,
Butthead.
dude. See, like that's what I'm saying.
Man.
Like I was so happy. Like
yes.
But like this is my business card that I just came out with.
Word.
Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
I did not do the art design there. I did like the overlay with the information.
I mean, it works, dude.
I like it. I feel like Tyler could cook you up something like super dope though.
Yo, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of want to put together like a T-shirt myself.
Yeah,
I might
totally.
have to hit you up for that design idea, man.
Tyler's your man.
For sure. Yeah, I do a lot of illustrative.
That's what I'm saying,
designy
man.
things,
This is another thing. Like, I don't know if you can see up here. I paid someone on Fiverr to do this. It's like they were like a tarot card person.
Yeah.
And like I was like, this is my gaming channel, and I'm like, oh, we're the hero and the bard. Do something with that idea, that concept. And she was like,
that's
hey.
dope.
Yeah, right. That's a pretty cool design.
Yeah, the business card works for sure too.
Yeah, people like it. It's like hologram. It's like a Yu-Gi-Oh card, bro.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Yeah. No doubt. I appreciate that feedback too, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to. I just found out about your Instagram today. Otherwise, I would have did research so I could bring up something to actually talk about. But I'm definitely gonna look into it.
Sick.
Super dope artwork.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you draw? Like, what are your hidden talents, Pat?
I don't know. Drawing is like kind of my I mean, not really drawing. I've been recently getting into lots of video work, so I've been trying to do a video a month. I started in August, and in August, so like basically the title of the video is the month itself, so like August, September, October, etc. August was the first month, and in terms of like ideas, I had an idea of just kind of combining like 3 different events that I was doing that month. One of them being a Riot event, one of them being a VentureCo event, and then one of them being a New York City event. And then kind
like
of
a jam?
Yeah, it's basically 3 different jams that I was kind of compiling into one month. And then from kind of figuring out how I was going to put those 3 together, I came up with this kind of logo. I don't know if you guys can kind of see it. But
so
basically
like design. So you have the mountain from the
so think of it as like the our logo on the bottom and then the Riot logo on top.
Yeah.
And it's those 2 logos kind of fused together.
Yeah, and I like how you kind of did the styling, like it's kind of scribbled your mountain.
Yeah,
so
I like
that a lot.
There was like a few different attempts where like I tried to doodle it and like it was like, oh, that's ugly as shit. And then like I tried it again. I was like, all right, I kind of like that one. And then like I saved it on my phone and I put it as a screenshot, and then I used it as the punctuation at the end of August to kind of like signify that like that's kind of what was
collaborative thing. Yeah.
Well, at first it was kind of to signify that like that was what it was included in the video, and then after I was like, well, it might as well be like a shout out to collaborate at some point, because like why not? Like I live in Philly and the Riot guys live in Philly, so like it's only natural that we would do a collaboration at some point. And like as you kind of ran into us today, it's kind of what was happening today. So hopefully you guys will see some cool content in the near like month or 2 about what we filmed today.
No doubt, man.
But yeah, and then I got September that's out on my Instagram, and then I'm working on October right now on my Instagram.
Nice.
So that's kind of where I've been channeling all of my like creative energy in terms of like video work. I've been trying to just kind of every month is a different theme. So like August was like the theme of ideas, like just the idea hitting you. That's kind of the idea of like that exclamation mark.
Yeah.
And then September, I didn't want to think about overdoing August, because August was like so jam packed.
No,
I was
doubt,
like,
yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna
last month of summer.
I was like, I'm gonna do September really like simple and kind of keep it super chill, and that's kind of how it came out. But it also came out in a simple way. I almost think it was one of my favorite edits, just because of like how much I didn't really try and overdo August. And then the theme of October is kind of be I think like fear. So like most of me and some of the other guys were doing like sober October, which is what I'm doing right now, in terms of just like.
Were you inspired to do that from Joe Rogan?
Yeah, Joe Rogan. So like, yeah, basically it's I love the idea of sober October, because like it just kind of teaches you to live a whole month without like things that you're not so used to in terms of just like drugs or vices or whatever.
Yeah.
And it shows you kind of like how to deal with things you're normally used to, and you have to just try and figure out like, all right, how do I function on a day-to-day basis without these things, and how do I it's just useful information to kind of get without it for that month.
I love the idea of doing a purge. I just hate that it's in October.
Yeah,
because
it's tough. Just because like
I like to get drunk with Batman.
So much fun stuff
while I'm dressed up as a Ninja Turtle.
But that's that's the idea. Or that's the theme for October. Is like I'm trying to create a video without the use of those vices, and just trying to see what I create and if I still can be creative without it.
No, that's cool. I like that, man.
So like, and like, even if it's bad, like that's totally fine. Like I'm totally okay if it's bad. And then I'm just gonna go back to just making whatever I want in November and December and et cetera, et cetera. So
nice, man. Yeah, I dig that a lot, man.
It's fun. It's a fun project. I want to go a full year, so like August to August, or maybe August to September. What's the month before? July. And then I'll see what I want to do from there creatively. But like I've been in this past 3 years that I've been living in Philly, I've been like looking for a creative outlet somehow, and like, you know, working at PPK has been fun, but it didn't really do it creatively for me. And then also just like everything else, I haven't had like a channel to kind of, you know, just express myself creatively. And I feel like these videos are like the thing that I really want to just do right now, just because they're really, really fun.
No, that's awesome. So how did you guys meet? Like, and just like what advice can you give to people to make a collective? Like, you have a 9-man team that's doing a creative project. That is not something that's not a big deal. Yeah, like, that's a difficult feat to put together.
Yeah, actually, I remember when I met Patrick, it was at Beast Coast in like 2016, maybe 2015.
Yeah, I forget the year.
I don't even know, but I was there. I was young enough to where I was there with my family, and my family made it. It was in Washington, D.C. My family made it like a family trip thing while I was doing my parkour thing.
Yeah.
And I remember convincing my parents. I was like, Mom, trust me, he's like some guy I know. It's Patrick. He has nowhere to stay. Like, can he come crash? And I barely even
was that when I stayed in your hotel room?
Yeah.
Yo, I remember that. Was it me and Carl staying in your hotel?
Carl, yeah.
Yo,
dude,
I remember that day.
We drove down with another teammate, Carl, who I was
crazy.
Previously friends with before we made this whole thing.
I totally forgot that happened.
And Carl was like, "Yo, my friend Patrick doesn't have somewhere to stay. Can he like come to the hotel room?" And I was like, playing off like I knew Patrick, and
like
just
because
I trusted,
like,
just because I trusted Carl to be like, Carl was like, yo, this man, he's like, Patrick's a good guy, and
so
I was
Carl
like, all right.
one of the dudes in the team.
He
was like a team captain.
I don't know. We all have our different.
You could say he's one of the team captains, but like I like the idea of the team captain role being swapped every now and then, because like. So like, and like this could go on a total different tangent, but like, you know how like the fucking Navy SEALs, whenever like they're going in on a mission, and like say like the lead man is gone, like the next person has to step in as the lead. Like that's what I kind of like to think in terms of like a good team. Like if one guy is out of the lead, the next person who like feels like they can take control should take control, and then just kind of like gives orders, and like if everyone
just
trusts
owning the situation
exactly, and like just kind of can give out orders. So like that's what I like, is like Carl's one of the leaders. I either think that like I can be as well, and like I think Tyler is totally capable of it as well. So it
kind of depends like what you're attacking at the time. So like if this is my specialty, I should be in front.
You're gonna be the one 100%. To lead it.
Yeah, exactly. We try to have people work towards things that they're specifically better at than other people. Like say like Patrick, no offense, is not the best at drawing, and I'm better at doing more illustration work, so I would be more geared to doing illustration work, or Patrick would be more of like getting things organized together, or like filming a video or things in that nature,
or just like maybe giving like critique here and there as to like
we try to like make the best of each person's abilities in the team.
I still don't even know my role yet, but
we trust him with the money because he's a good person like that,
I guess.
I'll say that about myself too. I hate being the money.
I can't. No, I'm good, thanks. But we try to have different liberties towards different peoples is what I feel like works best.
But I will say it is with the amount we have, it is tough to keep track of everyone. I mean, definitely, I definitely don't recommend starting out right at the gate with 9 people.
Yeah.
Start off with like a group of people that you get along with and can work with.
Yeah, share the same general idea of how things want to be pushed too.
Yep, and then
that's a big part.
And then just figure out what idea or project you want to start with, and then just kind of go from there. Do one project, see how that goes, and then if you want to do more, like by all means do more. But just like you said, find a common goal, idea, project, and just go from there.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you guys travel a lot too? Like you're saying, like your team's kind of more of a New York-based thing, but I know you're a Philly dude.
Yeah, I recently moved out to Philly, but most of the guys are still over in New York and Jersey.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm from New Jersey, but I just recently moved to Brooklyn. So
oh damn, dude.
Yeah, I'm up there with like a couple other teammates that live close, like in the Jersey area, but closer to New York, and a couple of us live in the city.
Yeah,
so.
and
dead ass.
Yeah.
Traveling's the ultimate goal, but as we quickly realize, as we get older, it's like the hardest thing in the world to travel as you get older, because like you become an adult and you have to like make money for yourself and figure out how to function on your own, as you've probably figured out as well. It's legit the hardest thing growing up, is to be like, all right, fuck, I gotta figure out how to.
How old are you guys though?
I'm 24.
21. About to be 22 in November.
How old are you?
27, man.
27?
I'm almost 28.
So it's like we're like just in the beginning of like figuring it all out, and like you're still, I mean, everyone's figuring it all out.
By the time I hit 30, if I can't make all of this stuff work like in a way that's self-sustained, so it's like, dude, I need to be a businessman.
Keep it going.
Yeah, if you got to figure it out by now, I think you might be lying. Just I don't think anyone has it figured out.
So.
No one's gonna figure it out. Yeah. But like legit, like
I wouldn't
like
trade anything.
the transition from being like a teenager to an adult, it's like, all right, how do I actually do this and not just spend all my money and then go broke and then just get stuck somewhere working at like fucking Dollar General or McDonald's or whatever. Like, how do I make this a thing that I can continuously do with my friends and make cool shit and also maybe make some money on the side? That's like the ultimate goal as you grow up, at least for me. And I like with all of us, I think that we've kind of seen that, and yeah, it's tough. It's not easy. We're still figuring it out. But yeah, figuring it out.
No, that's awesome, man. I dig that. So kind of let's go down a new river here and like kind of go on the parkour path, because you kind of entered it a completely different way than you did. I think like you're actually a parkour coach in PPK. You kind of want to let's talk about like your parkour journey a little bit now, and then I got some other questions that are parkour oriented that you might disagree on.
Yeah, so let's see, when did I start parkour? So I would say I officially started parkour when I started college, and I went to college at St. Peter's University in Jersey City. And a friend of mine, Aaron Yunez, shout out Aaron Yunez. I love him to death.
Love you, Aaron.
I haven't seen him in forever, but hopefully I get to see him soon. Hopefully, I don't know if he's coming to Oktoberfest, but maybe he will be. He hit me up with the idea of like starting a club at our college. And like most people, it's like, yo, let's start a club. We'll get more people involved, and like we'll just kind of make more friends, and we'll train at the same time. And we quickly found out that as we tried to start the club, we personally fell more in love with the sport, and then we just kind of got more into the training itself, and we just kind of forgot about setting up the club and the logistics of the club, and we just kind of stopped trying for the club altogether and just were totally all in on training. Yeah. So like I was in college basically and got so in love with parkour that I realized that I didn't want to finish school for the major that I was in, which was physics.
Where were you studying?
Physics. So I was in St. Peter's University in Jersey City. It's like a little private school in Jersey City. It's like pretty small. It's like in terms of the amount of people, you can think of it as like a high school like size, but like college. So it wasn't really much different from like going from high school to college. Yeah, so I realized that like I loved parkour more than I loved physics or going to college, and parkour to me was kind of like the escape from what I didn't want to do. Like I had to remotivate myself every single week to be like, all right, I'm gonna, try my best in this class, and I'm gonna try and get like a B or a C. And I knew I could get an A, but in terms of motivating myself, like I had to remotivate myself every single week to try and work hard in school. And if I have to do that every single week, that probably means that I really don't want to be in that major, and I really shouldn't be in school for that. So at a certain point, I just kind of decided to stop going to school. I took a long break from school. And that break consisted of me, basically dropping out of school and moving to Philly to work at PPK. Prior to that, I was also working at a gym in North Jersey. That was like a rock climbing Ninja Warrior gym or whatever. Mm-hmm. They didn't really prioritize parkour all that much. It was fun. I got some good experience, but I think the move from Jersey to Philly really kind of solidified the commitment that I had for parkour. And that I think that really kind of shifted my life in the direction that I wanted to go. And I've been in Philly for like the past 3 years now, and I've been coaching for about, let's say like 3 years now. Let's say more 4. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's one of the best decisions I've made in my life so far. And I would not go back on that decision. And it's brought me to meet the people that I interact with today. And I feel like I would be a much more miserable person if I stayed in Jersey and finished school and then had to pay off like those whatever loans that I took out to get that degree.
Are you in debt from the loans that you had to take in the first place?
A little bit, yeah, but I feel like it was smarter to leave earlier than like accumulate whatever.
You trap yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So like leave early, pay off whatever I have right now. I mean, granted, like right now in terms of like you mentioned earlier, in terms of like jobs that we're doing right now to sustain ourselves. Like I work at a special needs school. I'm a TA, and that job has been super fulfilling to me in terms of like being a nice complement to coaching, because working with special needs kids is a whole different ball game. Like in terms of just being able to talk to them and communicate to them, and I feel like it's made it slightly easier in terms of just like being able to coach on a normal day-to-day basis at the gym. And I feel like it's just made coaching 10 times easier, more fun. I don't know how to really, a better way to say it, but yeah, that's pretty much what it feels like. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit of my parkour backstory. It's been like 5-6 years now in terms of training. And yeah, I can't say that I've made a bad decision since. Yeah, I'm happy where I am right now, and yeah, it's kind of where things are.
Yeah, I gotta say too, man, like just seeing you move in the year that I've known you like well enough, like you're definitely one of the better athletes I've seen. Like just watching you do some of the stuff that you're capable of was like, fuck. Like even today at 3rd and Spruce, like that's my home turf.
Yeah.
And you were just shitting on stuff that I do. I'm like, fuck, bro. Like I used to, like I spent years training there, and like you just like tic-tac the wall and like got that over the John, over that little middle section.
John,
thing.
I love that.
I was like, bro, who is this guy, bro? Yeah. Incredible stuff, man. Mm. What's going on, man? I feel like these guys are messing around over here.
I don't know. What have we got in comments? Dick Sanchez 2020. That's about the only comment we got.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah, they're good. I don't see Kato. Kato's kind of sitting there, but it looks like he's just spacing out.
He's watching the podcast.
Yeah, he's watching. Hi, Kato. Give us a wave if you can tell us you're watching. I can't tell if he's watching or not.
It's going to be like a 10-second.
Oh, there he is. Hey! Yes. Cool.
All right, yeah.
Glad to know you're keeping an eye on Kato.
Yeah, no doubt.
Watching out.
It's important too. But yeah, this is actually pretty cool just having today, because the warehouse, my warehouse here is going away, so having a little shindig with you guys, like I couldn't spend a better October 12th at midnight.
Yeah.
I could not.
It's midnight already?
It is, man.
How long has it been? Has it been like an hour so far? Maybe less?
I think it's been like an hour.
A little less than an hour? Damn, that flew by. That was fast.
Ooh, the backup feed ain't even going. Is now. All right. Yeah, I think we've been going for about an hour.
Weird.
Easily. I mean, the conversation's been pretty riveting up to that point, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
What's
Tyler's
backstory.
Yeah, he
actually
gave his
a little bit of it.
Yeah,
Trampoline
but if
background.
you want to go further into it, please, man. I'm sure.
So you got bored of trampoline, right? Yeah. And then you found parkour. But like, when did you find parkour? Like, how did you find parkour? When did you stumble across it?
I vividly remember my friend showing me like a parkour show reel. I don't know what year, but like a little bit back, and like, I mean, I started to get into it more seriously like junior year of high school, and like end of sophomore year. But like, I remember my friend showing me that video, and I was like, "Yo, what is this? Like, this is some next level stuff." Like,
how do people do this shit?
Yeah, like, and I was all about climbing trees. Like, and Assassin's Creed actually was a big factor. Yeah, it was a big factor. I was like, "Yo, I want to move like that. Like, move like an assassin." Like, just to me at that period, it was just like
100%
craziest thing. I was like, "Yo, I want to do that," and then it just, I don't know, it's just been like an avalanche since, like, honestly.
And it's so cool how parkour became like this thing that swept the internet, because it's such an awesome thing to film. Like, even to this day, if I'm scrolling and I see a highlight reel, I'm stopping.
Yeah,
like,
you know what I mean? Watch all of it.
It's funny because there's the other day when I was training in New York City, there was like me and Nick. There was like 3 people that stopped and like, "What are you doing? This is the craziest thing."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Do you have a death wish?" I'm like, "No, we're just doing this for like personal growth, like personal benefit, like
trying to make yourselves better."
Yeah. And they were baffled, like they were blown away. Like, it's pretty cool seeing how like the normal, like, air quotes, normal people like kind of look about how like we have so much fun just jumping on walls. Like, when I break it down, it's just pretty much jumping on walls.
Like, finding happiness in like really, really simple things is such like a beautiful thing to teach people, but also like a really, really hard thing to teach people too.
Yeah, man. I couldn't agree more, man. It's so hard to get people out of that mindset of just fixed like rules and things. Like, trying to adopt parkour, it's not a sport as much as it's like a lifestyle. Like, it changes the way you look at your surroundings.
100%.
You know what I mean? And like, that's something I try to explain to people. Like, if you want to be good at parkour, or just like have good fundamentals, because me, like, I'm not even good. Like, I've been doing it for years, but like, I see you guys go, I'm like, fuck. But like, I can outrun most people just because I have good fundamentals, and I just understand how to look at an environment and turn it into what it like is fundamentally,
or like what you want it to be, right?
Exactly,
in terms of like whatever challenge you want to set for yourself.
Or even like if I'm like running away from like a dog or anything, you know, whatever it might be,
you can get away.
I can identify what makes architecture, you know, maneuverable. When someone else will be like, "Oh, I can't. It says don't step on the grass."
It's that kind of.
It says don't step on the grass. Why are you stepping on the grass?
That's crazy to me. Like, it's like so primal for people just to move through an environment as fast as they can, like, just in any sense.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I see posts about like people like think about how weird it is not being able to jump in a video game, and then they're like, "Wait, when's the last time I jumped in real life?"
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, I jump every day. Like, I don't know if I could get through like a couple days if I don't jump on some walls. Like, it's a different experience, and it's just it blows my mind how people just are so like, they're just so constrained to one thing, and then you just introduce a parkour and you understand how it works, and just everything is just a completely different 3D surface that is all yours. And it's normally just like a boundary, but now it's just like an obstacle. And you're like, what can I do with this, rather than this is like keeping me from doing something.
I also think
it's
like
cool
creatively it helps people really, really well. Like, if you're a person who like can't do anything creative, trying parkour will help you be more creative, because you have to put yourself in this space that you have to then think about what you can do with your body. And half the time, like, you're probably gonna do some weird shit, and you're like, I kind of feel weird about this. I don't know if this is right. I don't know if this is right. And then you're like kind of upside down on this railing, and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then like after a certain point, you stop caring about what you're doing, and you're just kind of doing what you want to do. And then that that makes it easier to express yourself creatively. And then from doing that, you're like, oh, I can then express myself creatively, maybe through drawing, or like maybe through video, or like maybe through music. Like it helps like release creativity through a bunch of different things. At least for me, that's what it felt like. Because before parkour, I didn't think I was creative at all. I thought I was the most boring human being in the world. I was like, I just go to school, I play soccer, I like maybe swim. But after doing parkour, I'm like, oh, I like making videos, or like I can maybe make this cool logo. And like, yeah, it just helps so much with creativity. It's like not even funny, but it's also hard to teach it because people are afraid to look dumb and look stupid at first.
Dude, that's like a huge thing for me. Like the ego, like once I let parkour kind of just beat it down, and like once I started like letting people teach me, oh my god, dude, it opened so many doors for me as well.
Everyone starts from somewhere. Like everyone's gonna start not being the best. Like that's the point. That's how it is.
With jiu-jitsu, it's like the same way, dude. Once I started just getting choked every time, bro. Okay,
it's the only way to learn. It's the only way to learn.
How long have you been doing jiu-jitsu for?
I'd say seriously for like 2 years, 3 years. Maybe not even 3, 2 years seriously. Like I've been taking it seriously for like 2 years.
Yeah. Nice.
Like if I was gonna say how long I've been seriously taking parkour, if I added the months together, I'd say like 2 as well.
Cool.
Or maybe 3.
It's like an equal amount parkour jiu-jitsu.
I'd say maybe.
Give or take.
I trained parkour longer, but I trained it cocky for too long.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't let it crush my ego soon enough. So a lot of that training was shit I had to backpedal and fix the form on.
Yeah.
And that's like, I'm so grateful for like having a coach like you in the gym, man. Like, just like you and Max Hummel. Shout out Max Hummel.
You're awesome.
Hummel. I know Max.
Cool. Bro.
I stayed at his house in Colorado.
Max is cool.
Dude, that's awesome.
Max is
cool. One of the like best influences on me in parkour. Actually, cool, if you know him, you know Kenny.
I don't think I know Kenny.
Washington.
Oh yeah, dude.
He's
DJ
the one that did
Wishy.
the flip over
Yo,
that.
shout out DJ Wishy Washy.
Yeah, dude.
I love Kenny,
Great
dude.
dudes, man.
I go
Great
to
dudes.
Woodward with Kenny.
Yeah. I used to train with Max all the time in Reading, though.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, he's one of the guys that.
Because he's from Pittsburgh, right? Or does he's got family in Pittsburgh?
Reading, man.
He's from Reading.
Yeah, but he moved. Like he
Pittsburgh.
started jumping around and stuff. I have a question I just want to look at quick. You mentioned you traveled. Where was the best place or most fun you'd say that you've trained or gone parkouring? So there's a big pet peeve I have.
Parkouring.
So, parkour is a noun, not a verb. You don't football. You play football. You don't parkour. You do parkour.
You do parkour. Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead. Answer my man,
you wanna go
the
first?
Mexipino.
Best place.
There's a lot on my mind, but
maybe like give your like top one. Like what's your best place? Like what's the place that you think of? Like when you think of travel and parkour, what's that thing?
My mind honestly goes to, it's gonna be cliche for parkour people, Colorado.
Yeah.
The 2 times that I've been there, I've trained my ass off, and it was amazing both times. Like, just the acclimation kills you, so I feel like I'm training harder, but like I'm probably not. But like the spots and the architecture is just another level. And then you have the beautiful addition of like the mountains in the background in Boulder, and just hiking in the mountains when we were up there was just a surreal experience. I loved it. Man. I loved every minute of Colorado. I would go back in a heartbeat. So I would say Colorado is my number 1 spot.
That's awesome,
just the assorted spots there collectively, the people, the gyms. So like, it's a good spot.
Yeah. I think. Oh, is that Max? Is that Max?
Oh shit!
Max! Yes!
Oh hey, I tuned in and you guys are talking about me.
Cool.
Yes,
that's
Max.
Awesome.
I love
That's
you,
pretty
Max.
funny.
Yo, shout out Max.
Shout out Max.
Max, put your Instagram handle in a comment so people know to go check out your stuff.
I miss you, Max.
That's pretty funny.
Parkour, the Burnville Water Tower. Hell yes. That's awesome, man. Yo, shout out. Oh wait, that's Nick. That's not Max. Yo, yeah, Nick is from Nick's. He's always commenting on my stuff.
Was that the Nick that was here?
That's the guy that was just here. Yeah. Shout out Nick the Speedo guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's all right, cool, man. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Let me if you want to go.
I mean, my answer is pretty short in terms of the best place I've trained at. So like I love training in Philly. Unfortunately, when I went to Colorado, it was like cold and snowy, so I didn't get a chance to really like train at some of the spots. But I know if it was sunny, it would be my favorite. But like low key, my favorite place to train was like my first 3 years of training in my hometown. Just like finding any little spot that I could train at with like my friend Aaron. Like those were the best days because I could literally go out and train for 4 or 5 hours and like not give a shit about coming home at whatever time, and just like I didn't have to worry about any like adult responsibilities. I was just in school and living at home, and like I could go out and train for 4 hours with Aaron and just like goof off and whatever, and it was probably one of the best times of my life, and I wish I can go back. But I do love where I am at right now and training right now, but like low-key best times of my life was first like 3 to 4 years of training back at home, for sure.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, there's something that, like, even, and I'm blessed to have, like, such a good spot as Third and Spruce. Like, I tell some people...
That's a lovely spot,
dude,
my God.
It really
that
is.
spot is really nice.
Oh, I wish I had that spot in Philly.
It's such a great spot. Like, and so many
good.
people that don't understand parkour are just like, what? Dude, it's, like,
this?
so low to the ground. Like, aren't you supposed to be jumping over buildings? Like, dude, you do not understand, bro.
No, I understand.
The spacing, the distances, like,
So many things
the types, like, the edges of the chairs. Like, I don't know if you did any pre's to them. Like,
I love it.
Dude,
I love
there's
it.
trippy stuff. Like, it's great. There's stuff from advanced to beginner there, man.
It's all sturdy too.
Yeah.
Minus some bricks, but
Super sturdy.
Take it. Like, I'll take it.
Stuff.
Like some spots in the city are just like worn down.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ah.
Well, it's just people. Like, a lot of people just like break that stuff too, and they train on it. What's your opinion on that? Like, a lot of people that have a stigma against parkour because you're guys
I've gotten a
around
bunch.
here.
I think the craziest thing I've ever gotten was it was called vandalism, and I was like, "What do you mean?"
Oh, you've gotten like
I'm
a
like,
vandalism?
yeah, I'm like, dude, my 170-pound body on like a concrete wall. If I break it, that's not really my fault.
Yeah,
like,
but also we don't want to break anything we jump
we don't
on
aim for it. We don't
because
aim to
like
break
then we
stuff.
can't jump on it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's
Exactly.
like that's dumb.
Defeats the purpose for us.
Whole purpose.
I'm not trying to break your walls. If they break, you need to build them better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like if anything, we're testing them to make sure they don't break.
Think about it like that.
Yeah, think about it that way.
Yeah, I like that. Well, one of the things like Elias and Kato were saying was if they jump on something and it breaks, a lot of the times it was already there, like at the tipping point of being broken.
Pretty much.
And you know, if you're going to look at the glass half full, those people are going to now fix that instead of letting it be a rusty piece of crap.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. Kato, stop using my account, man. I'm gonna if
Get off with it, Kato. Oh, we got.
If you guys comment on my stuff,
It's a Elias
Oh my
now.
god! All right, yo, you know what? I'll be right back.
Get out of there. All right, me and Tyler are going solo on this right now.
We're taking over the whole podcast.
I got a question for you to riff on quick.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Best and worst experience with cops.
Ooh. Okay. You want to start? I don't got a good one.
All right, so I'll start with the worst experience because that's what I remember first. It was me, Nick, our friend Sam Johnson from North Carolina. Shout out Sam Johnson, even though you're probably not watching, but I'll make you watch. And then our friend Randy. So we were at this under construction parking garage. We were just chilling at, and we were on the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing a Kong Pre, like a specific move out of the parking garage onto another piece, like a circle piece. And there was legitimately 4 kids there, 4 of us dudes. And one cop shows up, sees what we're doing, and then 12 more cops show up.
Yeah.
And they tried to like arrest us and do all this other crazy shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were just not having it. They were stubborn the whole time. Just 12 cops came mashing towards
12?
us for 4 kids, just doing some things on a parking garage,
Yeah.
and they thought we were
Trying to break in
like
or
graffiti, stealing some shit. Like I don't know. Yeah, that was easily the worst.
That was the worst.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to go to that
Parking garage again.
that just complex
Area.
in Queens. Like they have my name down,
Damn.
so I can't go back to that part of Queens.
Yeah.
So it's whatever. But
Damn.
yeah, that was the worst, probably the worst experience. They just stubborn, wasn't having anything of what I was saying.
Didn't want to listen to you.
Yeah, we're like, dude, we'll leave. Like, just give us a warning. And they're like, no, you're staying here. And we're like, all right, like, we don't want trouble.
Yeah.
Like,
How old are you?
I'm 21 right now.
No, but at that time.
Oh, at that time, 19, maybe 20.
Oh man, so
Yeah.
you're just
It was-
like becoming
yeah,
an
I
adult.
think
We're
19.
holding you to full
Yeah, I think I was like 19.
That's crazy.
It was wild.
And did you tell yours?
Do I have a worst experience? I mean, like, in terms of the worst experience of the cops, no, but like I think like the most severe,
like a security guard or anything.
Well, so like there was the first parkour trip I ever took was to Orlando, Florida, with my friends Gavin and Carl, and there was one time where we were on a rooftop and we were trying to just do this like polecat or whatever, and like I remember seeing just lights flashing by the side, and then we all just dropped to the floor, and we're like, we're just waiting there, like to see if the cops would leave, and then we just remember hearing them just be like, all right, we know you're up there, please come down. And then like one guy comes down, and we're like, all right, do we come down too? Do we wait? Do we like go down the other side? And then at some point we just gave up, and we all just came down, and then like the cops literally just like gave us like a little citation ticket or whatever. They didn't really fine us anything. We just like signed something, and then like at that point we were off. But like that was like the first encounter I had with police, and then like luckily every single time after that it's been pretty chill.
Yeah, they're normally chill.
They're normally pretty chill. Yeah. It's nice when they're like,
you think like they just know what parkour is.
Yeah,
just, like,
you know what's funny though?
That's the best.
Time at this point.
Yeah.
It's what I've found recently is like what I've noticed recently. I don't know. You could correct me, but like, at least in New York City, like the cops or the security guards, for the most part, chill.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, yo, like we know you're not trying to cause harm. Like just leave and don't come back. We'll be fine. Whatever. Yeah. But it's like pedestrians and like the normie, like random people. They like will freak out and overreact.
What are you doing?
Like if we're if we're on a roof, like I remember I was on a rooftop and we were doing this little baby roof gap, just little stuff for like some guy wanted to just take pictures like on a roof doing a roof gap or like whatever, and we're doing it right, and I'm standing right by this door and this guy comes booking up the stairs. Like I heard him, I heard him coming up the stairs. He slams his door open. He nails me. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, he's just flipping out because we're just on his roof. Yeah. And he's like, I'm calling the cops. All this. The cops never came. We were just stayed chilling up there. We were quieter. And he never came back. But, like, the pedestrians and the normal people. Was it like a house or like an apartment? It was like an apartment building. Complex. Yeah. But, like, people always get more mad than anyone else. Yeah. People on the street get mad. You're not even on their property.
Yeah, they're like
I've had that before.
That's unsafe. What are you doing? And they just like complain at you.
Karens,
like,
yes, Karens,
legit.
Yeah,
Karens,
bro.
Fucking.
It is the Karens.
Mexipino, whoever you are. Karens, you understand?
Mexipino. I'll give him the shout out. We had a scavenger hunt, and there's one scavenger hunt thing left in episode 13 with Brian Tang. He was the first one to get it. He won a beanie.
Hey,
we're doing a giveaway. I got a T-shirt still. Ooh. From DEFCON 27. Check out the description. Brian Tang's
fucking
episode.
Karens are not fun because they just feel attacked that you're putting your life at risk or whatever.
They feel attacked. You're putting your life in
and it's like the dumbest thing in the world. And then you try and convince them otherwise, but it doesn't work because they're just like in their own world, and then you realize you're like, I'm just gonna give up and walk away at this point. It's not even worth it.
Honestly,
I had an old Robert type guy. He was like, Robert, you're ruining the concrete over here. Like you're wearing it away. I'm like, dude, it's like you're gonna damage everything over here. I'm like, dude, like,
what are you gonna do with the concrete?
Yeah, it's like, bro, like I'm respecting this. Like I'm interacting with this architecture in a more intimate way than you could ever imagine.
Like, rule number 1 is always check what you're jumping on. Like, and if you don't, then you're an idiot because you're just asking to get hurt. But like, always check what you're jumping on so that you don't fall and break something or get hurt. Like, come on. Rule number 1 or 2 or whatever. I don't know what order of priorities people have for parkour these days, but yeah.
Respect your surroundings, man. I think that's like, because I've had experiences with younger generation of parkour that doesn't respect the environment as much, where they were kind of like jumping on cars and stuff, and I'm just like, guys, like you're really just shitting on the image of what we are trying to do, like especially because they were like jamming with me in my group back in the day, and like they were younger and just had a little bit more lack of give a shit with their bodies, so they were just throwing themselves at stuff and just
more
like
naive.
and they were just they they're probably more athletic than me. So because of that, they wouldn't respect where I was coming from, even though I've been in the scene longer. Like, nah, dude, like, I've been traveling around. Like, I understand, like, this is what parkour people are supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like for this to be a respected art form, you need to not be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For real. Yeah.
Max, so right on the pedestrians. They'll say creepy threats and stuff. Completely just don't know what they're talking about.
And they get the angriest. For no reason whatsoever. Like, you look like, where's the anger coming from? Because, like, I don't know what I did to offend you, but it's just coming out of nowhere. And like, I'm sorry for the person that offended you like 20 minutes ago, but it wasn't me, and it's not my fault.
Yeah, we're generally very chill. If you
legit, so chill.
If anyone tries to kick us off or get us away,
Have you ever had like a conversation with a cop where they're just like saying oh, what are you doing over here? And you just explain like, oh, we're just doing this, and they were like, and you kind of got to explain it. Like Elias was saying, like that's his thing.
Yeah.
Like, he gets off on trying to have a conversation with people.
Yeah.
And as crazy as the riot guys are, like that's like a hugely respectable thing from Elias on that piece of it, man.
Yeah. It's good to come from a professional standpoint first, and then once you notice that like they're just not very receptive to the feedback or the information, then at that point you're just like, all right, I'm just gonna leave because there's no point in talking to you. Because yeah,
for sure, man.
Love you too, Elias.
Love you.
You the man.
See you over there. I see you over there
playing Smash Bros.
Are they? Nice.
Like the keyboard's messed up, so all they could do was emojis. They were saying, and I'm like, good. I'm still gonna lock it though. But yeah, that's awesome, man. So kind of random, kind of off-topic stuff here.
Let's do it.
Who individually do you think is the greatest athlete in the world?
Damn, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Because this question I like to ask parkour athletes, because I think to do parkour you need to have a union between body and mind that so many other sports don't even come close to.
Yep.
So even the best guys in that sport can't compare to a parkour athlete.
Yep.
But I've had a really highly renowned parkour athlete tell me that it wasn't a parkour athlete. This is like when I asked him this question, he said that it was like a motocross guy because he was saying that's the most physically demanding sport.
Motocross.
You know.
I don't know. I'd say it depends.
Just your opinion, like whatever your criteria is. You don't need to try to match. Like, oh, I wonder what he's expecting me to say.
No, yeah,
like,
I know what you're saying.
What do you think? Like in your opinion, like who's someone that like you think is like the pinnacle athlete when you think of it?
The pinnacle I don't know. It's someone who, in my mind, has to be very well-rounded technically and like I don't know, like they have to be very well-rounded through like I don't know. I feel like
It's a hard question. It's a hard question. It really is.
It's a rough one.
I guess I can start off by saying like who it isn't. So like if you're someone that's like done one or two like really good challenges or tricks, like I don't know if you've seen the guy that's been circulating on Instagram that's like really good at those cork prees.
Oh yeah,
and like there's like one or two that he did that's really really good, and then there's like two where he almost dies. Like he literally falls off a cliff.
Is it that one that's circulating right now? Or where it's like a thin thing.
Yeah,
and he falls off this side.
Legit, and then
it's like a railing.
And then there's another one there's a pipe, and he falls in between the pipe and the railing, and he falls straight into the water. Like if you're that guy, I'm sorry, but I think you're an idiot. Like you're pushing yourself too much, and you're pushing yourself in an unnecessary way. Like. Sure, push yourself mentally or push yourself physically, like in parkour, but then also take that and push yourself mentally in a bunch of different other ways as well. Like, yeah, I just wanted to rant about that for like a hot second, because like, don't be that guy that just like pushes yourself to the brink of death, because like, once you die, there's no way you can push yourself in a bunch of different ways, and like, you don't have to do that. But in terms of a specific athlete. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I'm gonna throw out. I guess I'm gonna throw out Ed Scott. Ed Scott's been killing it recently with her in competition. He's been doing real well. And
he's
I think
parkour guy?
he's a storm athlete.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Another storm athlete.
He's a storm athlete.
Came into my mind.
What's their thing?
That's the thing.
Yeah, I was right.
That's been killing it recently. And like, yeah, I mean, he did real well in Art of Motion, and he did super well in NAPC, which is the North American Parkour Championship.
That's funny because my mind went to either Tim Champion or
really
Joseph Hendo, both also on
really
Team Storm. So Team Storm is killing it.
Team Storm's been killing it. Really
What about Store?
Store, they killing content.
Content wise, they've been doing really well.
Every Monday they are killing videos. Blows my mind every Monday.
Yeah. So content wise, Store has been killing it, but I think athlete wise, Storm has it in the bag right now.
Has their athletes,
hopefully within the next year or two, you'll see me or Tyler somewhere in NAPC. Maybe we'll be competing.
I would love to see that. Because Elias just competed.
Yeah, he just competed. Hopefully we'll see him again next year. I mean, it'd be awesome to have like Venture and Riot in NAPC,
full East Coast Storm,
and we just all like go to Vancouver, and that'd be pretty sick.
That would be lit, man.
That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah,
East Coast,
all in the Riot van.
Yeah,
that would be sweet, man. I would love to. You gotta send me some of these guys.
For sure.
I know Tim Champion. I know that.
Tim Champion.
Yeah, he's insane.
Insane.
Yeah.
He's a savage. He's just, in my mind, technically rounded.
I don't know who Magnus Metibo. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Who is that? Mexipino. I don't know who that is.
Send us the Instagram handle and we'll take a peek. Take a peek real quick.
But yeah, man, that's awesome. That's a great question.
That's a hard question. I had to rant about what not to do as the greatest parkour athlete, because you don't need to push yourself every single day as hard as you can, because I think that's like the dumbest thing in the world. Also, Kato, you could probably get started on that steak, because we're probably going to chow down on that thing in like 2 seconds or in like a few minutes. Get started on that steak. But yeah, I had to rant about that real quick, because dude, I saw that video and I got mad, because like it just puts parkour in such a bad light.
Nice.
Dude, rock climbers,
they're
fit.
But like anybody that's recklessly throwing themselves at stuff, it makes me mad, because it just makes parkour seem worse than it legitimately is, because it's not about recklessly throwing yourself at stuff. It's about being smart with your brain, right? And taking calculated risks so that you can grow physically, right? And then from that, you can mentally trust yourself in other real life scenarios, so that then you can do harder things in like every other day life, you know?
So I'm just kind of thinking some of the things that parkour athletes, your layman would think is completely unnecessary, like doing any kind of prees or anything on top of a building or anything. But saying, kind of going off of what you were saying about taking unnecessary risks, what's your opinion on Pasha? Because that seems to be like his shtick, man. Like, he does some silly stuff, but, you know, obviously you're seeing the highlight reel.
Yeah.
But how often is he making mistakes doing these crazy stunts?
Pasha, I feel, is a different story. He's a different breed. He's been doing out there, like, crazy, like, things for, like, so long. He knows his body, like, better than I think anybody will know their body, like, in a long time. Like, he knows his... like spatial aware, like he's so spatially aware. Level, like he knows where he is in the air at all times, and I think that's my
favorite dude to follow on Instagram, man. He's so crazy.
He's just
you can tell a really, really strong athlete from whenever they have an injury, and the injury doesn't really stop them from moving, and it actually expands their movement repertoire. Like with Pasha, I think he's been, and I don't know when the last time he was injured, but whenever he is injured, he uses that injury to kind of just learn a bunch of different moves in a bunch of different other ways.
It's honestly what I did too when I got injured.
Yeah, so it
keeps you occupied.
Exactly. Like you just learn to think a little bit differently, and you don't make your injury worse, but instead you just learn how to use your body in such a way that you don't use the part that's injured, but you can still be creative and come up with new ideas without having to hurt yourself more. And I think Pasha's really good at that. And to some people, maybe it's like something very, very sketchy, but I think to Pasha, it's like, you know,
he's having fun.
Yeah, he's having fun, and it's a very, very calculated risk.
Yeah. Exactly. A perfectly calculated risk.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, he's definitely, like, the things you see are most likely the final result of what he does. He definitely does things and gets like relatively close, and then does them like I think he does like things and gets like maybe a foot away, and then inches closer and closer and closer until he's like, all right, I'm gonna call it there. And then like where he does those flips where he's like inches.
Yeah.
Like, I think he just, like, slowly keeps doing it over and over and then just, like, brings it back each time. It's where he's just like, all right, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Like, that's perfect. Like, done. I'm not going to keep trying. And then he has,
I think, like, everyone makes mistakes, though. I'd love to train with Pasha, just because, like, he's on such a next level of, like, the risk-reward thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just trying some ridiculous stuff. I would just love to watch how he gets there.
Yeah.
You know?
He's
just
also
process.
He has so many different styles. Like, he has, like, the b-boy back. Like, I remember, like, he used to do a lot of b-boy stuff, and now he does a lot of kind of, like more martial art kind of moves, like off axis kind of martial art kicks and moves and things, and then he, like, morphs those into with the b-boy thing. So he's a very, like, off axis kind of mover, which is perfectly fits his style, because that's always what he's been. He's just
and it's a lot of things you don't expect.
Exactly.
Like, you expect him to flip from here to here, and then he goes up, and then he lands on his, like, toes, and you're like, what? I didn't even think you could get to your toes on that bar. And then he's hanging upside down, and then he, like, lands back on his feet, and it's like...
I feel like it's also a lot of, like, he finds like, he enjoys things in b-boying, and then he enjoys things in martial arts, and then he finds, like, a certain crossbreed where he can enjoy things of both of the nature and create new things. So it's 100%. A cool, like, 1 and 2 mixture. It's a really cool thing he's got going on.
Yeah. So, like, I've watched you go through just working on a project and finally getting it and sticking it clean and then saying, all right, this one's going on the gram. You know what I mean? And it just being clean. And just watching you work up to that process and failing properly, I think, is such an important thing, too. Knowing how to bail in parkour is, like, that's something you need to learn immediately. And that
100%.
needs to be right there.
Right from the beginning.
That's what I teach kids first.
First thing is how to bounce back, how to save yourself from any fail. Because, like, in the early days, everyone was just like, I want to make it. And then they make it. And then they try and figure out how to maybe fail it. But it's like, you got to learn how to fail it first, safely, without hurting your ankles, without hurting your hands, without hurting your shin or whatever, and then you, like, dial in the power to stick it or to make the jump or whatever. And I feel like that's only something that's recently been, I mean, like, within the past few, I don't know, year or two, that, like, people have been focusing on in terms of just parkour technique. And I feel like we've been doing that pretty well over at PPK, and I feel like other places have been kind of focusing on that more so as well, which is nice to see.
And that's important for sure. So let's kind of go on to the topic of injuries. Like, what's an injury that's maybe more recent or most prominent in your career that has affected, like, your training, and how did you work through it? Like, right now, I'm working through a jiu-jitsu injury, which sucks. Because it's on a limb that I was focusing on attacking, and now it sucks for me to train that because it's like, hey, can I try this on you, but you're not allowed to do it on me because I have my brace on. I hate being that guy. So
is your injury on your knee?
It's on my foot.
Okay, gotcha. And how did you get the injury?
Just training, just sparring. And I was just rolling with my coach, and I just had him in something, and he did a toe hold on me faster than I could tap, and I just heard a bunch of Velcro.
Damn. Yeah. I had an injury, was it like, it's gonna be like 4 years ago now, 5 years. I had a partially torn meniscus. Ooh. And this was actually, like, right when I came back from that Florida trip that I mentioned, where it was during the actual Florida trip, I had the partially torn meniscus, and I was telling myself, I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, it's just, if I train for a little bit, it gets sore, and then I wait like 3 or 4 days, and then it heals, and then I'm fine. But it constantly kept coming back to the point where I couldn't train like 2 days in a row. Like, I would have to give it like a full week's rest before I could train on it again. And at that point, I realized, I was like, yeah, this isn't normal. I need to get this checked out. I put off checking it out for like a whole month, which wasn't smart on my part. But yeah, found out it was a partially torn meniscus, and I had to get surgery to get it fixed. They had to, once they went in to get it, to check it out, they had to decide if they were gonna like sew it back up to fix it, or if they were just gonna take off the excess meniscus that might have been there. And then when they went in, they found out that they couldn't fix it, so they had to take out or remove the excess meniscus that was kind of just floating about. And then after that, it was like 3 to 4 months of trying to work full range of mobility back in my knee.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't bend my knee all the way in, I couldn't straighten it all the way. And it was just like, I remember just being in the shower, just like pouring hot water on my leg and like trying to push it all the way in and then trying to push it all the way out. And like, it was not fun at all, obviously. But it definitely helped me appreciate the legs that I have right now and the strength that I have in my legs right now. And I think that's definitely helped shape me to the athlete that I am right now. Definitely not the best athlete that I could be. I definitely could be better in some instances, but I'm definitely happy for just the legs that I have right now.
No, 100%. I just kind of going off of the knee. I actually had a knee surgery on this knee for meniscus as well. And
sucks.
Dude, once I was able to walk again, like that's when I decided like I'm gonna be an athlete the best I can possibly be because this is actually really cool just hearing you say this because I haven't been training as serious as I should and I need to get back into like I was just telling Nick I want to start lifting again this winter and that's what got me like to be the athlete that I am like this used to be like this scary knee that I had to use a towel to bend and all the fucking things that you're talking about and the hot water. Dude, that stuff,
that sucks.
It humbles you, and it makes you realize, like, yo, this is, you got one life to live here. Let's make this knee work now.
Yeah. And
if we just sit and play video games, like, it's gonna seize up, and it's never gonna work again.
And it's like those injuries I think that make or break the greatest athletes because, like, if you can't recover from an injury like that, then you don't really deserve to be whatever athlete you want to be. I know you've had a worse injury than me. You've had your ACL.
I had a fully ruptured ACL and a partially torn meniscus.
That's what mine was.
Yeah, so I fully tore my ACL, like a fully ruptured ACL, and just doing a simple basic move, and I didn't stick it the way I wanted to, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna leave it. And my homie's like, nah, dude, one more time. You got to do it one more time. You got to do it perfect. I'm like, you know what? Because I'm a type 1 diabetic, I had to wait for surgery like a month or two. So with an ACL, like once the swelling goes down and it relatively gets better per se, but it's still torn, you could still like walk and do certain things. It's where you pivot is where it like really messes with your ACL.
Yeah man.
So my dumbass was still doing parkour with a fully torn ACL, and then I was still training, and then I partially tore my meniscus, so I had to get that fixed. But I got patellar like a patellar graft in my ACL now, and it's been like a year and a half since I got surgery, and I've been chilling, but like recently I just sprained it for the first time, which is very scary. I thought I tore it again, but I didn't, thank God.
Stretches, man.
I've been, trust me.
Yeah,
I'm doing, it's a little sore, but it's relatively good for the most part. I got lucky. I got a good surgeon that repaired it strong, so I'm just listening to my knee, you know? Like, I train as much as it lets me. And once it like starts to hurt too much, then I stop, take some photos, do other things just to get my mind off of training. But yeah, that was the worst injury I've had of my life.
Yeah,
hands down. Yeah, but now I'm finally jumping again, so it's like good. Can't complain.
Yeah, no doubt.
Can't complain.
That's fucking awesome, man. That's really good stuff too. Like and just powering through injuries is so important, man. Just like once you get there, you need to just stay at it, man.
For real.
I mean, there's a great quote that I read recently. It goes like, "Every man has 2 lives until he realizes he only has 1."
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's so true.
Like an injury will humble you to that point where it's like, dude, like I need to take this really seriously.
It honestly did.
Like I was gonna do like after I got this injury on my foot, I was going to do a jiu-jitsu tournament that like a bunch of my buddies were like gearing up for, and I'm like, all right, dude, I'm gonna do it anyway, even though I'm injured. The weekend before the competition was like the next weekend. I re-injured it, and I'm like, fuck, dude. And it's just because like I was rolling a little too hard, you know what I mean? Just like I was a little too cocky. Like I think I can like outmaneuver this. Like I better be able to outmaneuver this because I'm about to compete next week. You know, it's whatever mindset I was in, and I just re-injured it. And it was just like now, whenever I do jiu-jitsu, I always wrap it now. It's like I'm taking the injury really seriously. Like, you know, once you relapse an injury, like it helps you take it more seriously. Sometimes your ego gets in the way a little bit of, you know, your proper healing routine. And it's really important. So now, like, I'm going to hold off on competing until I know this thing's ready to kick the shit out of somebody's face or something.
Yeah. Max is wondering if you know that parkour athlete.
I don't know that guy.
George McGowan.
Yo,
he's
Max,
insane.
inbox me on Instagram. Send me your favorite clip of that guy. I'll watch it and we'll discuss him.
He just did a 540 front flip precision.
What?
Yeah,
I haven't seen this clip yet. That's crazy.
Like a Rudy Pre.
That's crazy. I gotta see this.
It was like a gap, and he did like a front flip 540 and landed on like a ledge like this big.
It's pretty.
It's crazy.
Cool. That shit crazy.
George is insane. I was chilling with him at Woodward Camp.
Yeah.
In PA. Yeah. And he's a really humble, dope dude.
Yeah.
And like just to see him move it's another level. Yeah. He's got springs.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I just like generally speaking, I think like most of the guys that really live the parkour like ethos, if you even want to call it that, they're just generally really warm-hearted people.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Controversial question. Feel free to avoid answering this.
I'm ready.
What's your opinion on the people who are like Ninja Warrior people, and then you have the parkour people?
You want to start?
Parkour guys are kind of like purists sometimes, and then the Ninja Warrior people are kind of like Instagram whores a lot of the time. It's and it spans both ways. You know?
Yeah, it does.
It's a spectrum on both sides.
Yeah, because you got the PK guys that like just post clips to get views and you know stuff like that. So it's like,
I mean, I got nothing against Ninja Warrior people. Like, I teach Ninja Warrior classes to like little kids. They love it. Like, Ninja Warrior people do their thing. I do my thing. It's kind of how I see it. But a lot of people sign up for Ninja Warrior or parkour expecting Ninja Warrior, but get something different. And I hope they like something different. But like, you could totally learn parkour and use it those special skills towards Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
And like. But Ninja Warriors are like a lot of different skills. Like it's a lot of like rock climbing, and I feel like if you do like rock climbing and parkour, you'll be really good at something like Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
But like parkour is its own separate thing, in my opinion. But you could use those skills for a lot of other things as well.
Yeah, I like to think.
I don't know if that really answered the question, but
no, it's fair.
It's fair.
Yeah, I like that. I like to think that like, you know, people who didn't do Ninja Warrior are practicing for like specific obstacles. Whereas parkour teaches you to be very adaptable to like whatever environment you're in. But I also, in terms of like how I feel about like ninja versus parkour, I usually tell people, or like I guess like the Ninja Warrior show in general, I don't like how it's very reality TV show, you know, glamorized or whatever. Like they really like people who have like riveting backstory, which is cool because I understand like, you know, you want people to view it and to kind of watch it, you know, for the views, but parkour is just such a more simple form of just like training yourself to be able to get challenge, you know, X or move Y or whatever, and then applying that to wherever else you are. And I think it's just such a more flexible thing rather than just Ninja Warrior teaching you to do obstacle 1, 2, 3, or 4. And I think that's my take on Ninja Warrior versus parkour. I think Ninja Warrior is fun for anyone that wants to do it, but I think doing parkour as well is also equally as important. If you want to be adaptable to, say, like any random ninja obstacle that pops up that you're not prepared for, maybe if you know some parkour, it might make you more prepared for that random ninja obstacle that you weren't ready for. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
good feedback on that stuff.
Yeah.
I know you guys really want to get some good rest, so I don't want to hold you up too much longer. I'm ready. I have like way more questions. Like I definitely want to have you guys on again. Maybe more of your team or whatever we can figure out. Just like some closing remarks. Like, how do people put together a parkour team? How do they find people who are gonna be good to collaborate with, like with art? And how do you find a good community to do parkour with if they don't have a gym or something like this around them?
Well, that's kind of where it's tricky, but in my personal upbringing, I lived in like suburbia, like in New Jersey. There was like no spots around me, so the best spots I could train at while starting was like a playground, and that's how I kind of started, very flip oriented, because I started around a lot of playgrounds where I would do flips with my friends. And I've been through my own personal cycle of parkour teams, and the Venture Co is where I feel like I really found like my niche, like my fit with a bunch of other people that have their own fit as well, but we all correlate. So like, I don't know, like I have my day one homies that I'm still friends with that don't do parkour, but I'm like the only one from that team that still trains consistently.
Yeah.
So like, you go through your cycle of teams, but like, I think the moral of the story is just, it's all about just being with your homies and chilling and having a good time, doing what you love.
Figuring out, like, trial and error. Figure out who you like to do stuff with and try and do more of that stuff with those people. In terms of like finding a good community, I legit just moved from where I was living to Philadelphia to a community where I currently think that there are more people doing more things, where I can collaborate with more people. And I think that's the move, is to go to the places where you know that there's people that are doing the things that you want to be doing, and then just doing those things with those people and just seeing what happens. And if you like it, sweet. If you don't, go somewhere else and find more people and just do more cool shit.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, great feedback, guys. I really appreciate you coming out.
Yeah.
So if people want to like do some like collaborations or even train with you guys, where can they find you?
You can hit us up at the Venture Co or at Tyler_Downing or at Patrick Carbajal.
Yeah.
Or if you want any art related things from me, you can hit up Spiffy Hippie down at the bottom.
Yeah. Somewhere. Yeah, right there actually where you're pointing. It's perfect.
Yep.
Cool.
Got it.
All right,
dudes. Fun.
Well,
got all the plugs.
That's it. Thanks for the plugs. We're gonna head out. Thanks for everyone who participated. This was a really smooth cast. Peace.